All right, let's talk wet cat food. So on this channel, I like to talk a lot about the differences between food quality, ingredients, and everything that you feed your cat. This video, I'm going to specifically talk to you about the top 5 wet cat foods that my cats have loved and that I love as well, as in, no, I don't eat it. But when it comes to ingredient quality, when it comes to the price point and everything. As a reminder, you can find all of these down in the description below or check out Chips's Amazon shop where I post all the products that we use. We have tried all the toys and everything that you see on Chips's videos. Okay, let's very briefly talk about why I love wet cat food compared to dry cat food. When it comes to dry kibble, you'll hear a lot of people say it's unhealthy. In reality, it's not necessarily unhealthy. There are just some components to it that may not be the best for your cat. So, for example, your typical dry kibble is usually filled with a lot of carbohydrates, so a lot of additives, fillers, and other ingredients that make it so that it's the consistency and the product that it really is. But most of the time, what I mean is that is when you flip it around and look at the ingredient list, there's a ton of ingredients, and most of the time, you can't pronounce or even figure out what on earth they mean. So that becomes really frustrating because a lot of people will say, oh, that's bad for your cats. There's another thing you need to consider when it comes to dry cat food. With dry cat food, they don't get a lot of moisture from it because it's dry. You have to ensure that your cat is drinking enough water. It's kind of like if you're just eating a dry, like you're eating tons of crackers but don't drink water, right? You'll get very thirsty. It'll soak up a ton of the moisture in your stomach and everything. But the idea is with wet cat food, you have the opportunity to literally be feeding them moisture, and I just love it. It makes it so I know that my cats are getting enough moisture. Most of the time it's not insanely expensive, but no matter what, I think this option is definitely the way to go if you can afford it. So let's talk about each of these brands, each of the ingredients, their price point, and why my cats have loved them and why I love them. So the very first one I'm going to talk to you about is a Portland Pet Food Company. This one is definitely the most expensive of all these options. And honestly, it's because you're buying some incredible quality. So with this, it only has 8 ingredients on there, and I'll read them to you. So that means the ingredients in here supply the nutrients, the minerals, the vitamins, without the brand needing to add it back in. We'll talk about that when I read some of these ingredients and the other options. So a reason I love this, my cats devour it, they love it. I usually put it on a lick mat. It doesn't smell terrible, the consistency is great, and of course, again, the ingredients are great. So for example, this one, it's the chicken and pumpkin homestyle cat meal by the Portland Pet Food Company. It has chicken, chicken broth, pumpkin puree, egg, vegetable oil, potato flour, sea salt, and eggshells. Now when I tell people to look at the ingredients, I usually say, can you pronounce them and do you know what that even means? If you can Google it real easily and understand, that's one thing. I can understand all these ingredients without Googling them, right? It says feed 1 pouch per 7 pounds to your cat to replace half of the average daily caloric needs. So that's awesome. I don't have to feed them 6 of these to make sure that they get everything they need. Now the second one is by Open Farm. You've probably seen this in videos that I've posted on Chips's account. Open Farm is the brand that we have used for pretty much a full year. We love Open Farm. They have wholesome ingredients, but nevertheless, let's look at the ingredients here. A turkey bone broth, pumpkin, spinach, carrots, red lentils, cranberries, chickpeas, chicory root, sunflower oil, coconut oil, salt, vitamins, and then it lists a whole bunch of vitamins. You should know the vast majority of all of those. So I know, because I've been feeding my cats this for a very long time, that this type of food is fantastic. It's a lot healthier than just a kibble you'll buy from the store. These cartons are really adorable and I love them because you just lift up the tabs, tear it off, feed them as much as you want to feed them, and then you can seal it and put it back in the fridge. So it's really great compared to some of these other ones where you better just feed them the whole thing because you can't really reseal it. And what's really cool about some of these wet food options is you can literally have these stored, like this is 2024, it's 2023 now, so it'll last like a year and a half. Pretty sure this is about the same. Yeah, so this will last a year and a half without you opening it. Of course, when you open these, because the ingredients are so wholesome and good, once you open it, then you expose it to the air, the bacteria, and everything. So then you need to make sure that they eat it very quickly, as in you can't just let it sit for 2 weeks, for example. Now we're going into some other options. This is a wet food option as well, but this is a brand that you can get at PetSmart really easily. You can find it on Amazon, and it's a brand that a lot more people have access to. The Portland Pet Food Company is not as accessible. You can buy it, of course, from Amazon at the link below, but it's not as easy to buy at like a PetSmart, and you definitely won't be finding it at your local Walmart. Open Farm is also more of an exclusive brand in which you're not going to easily find it at your Walmart, but of course you can find it at more specialty stores or Amazon. And then Nulo is a brand that you can get a little bit more accessible. So ingredients: sardines, sardine broth, beef broth. This is great, limited ingredients. This has only 4 ingredients, which I love. The price point's a little bit better than the prior 2 options, so it's a little bit more accessible. And again, this is an awesome option. One thing you have to note about this, it isn't necessarily their meal. So they call this a food complement. A food complement means you provide it to them almost like as an extra treat, an extra snack or something. You can put it on top as a meal topper, but it's not their entire meal. So you can't just go and buy 50 of these, store them, and only feed them these. It's just not going to give them the nutrients, the vitamins, and minerals that they need. So be very aware of that. But I love giving these as additional meal toppers. If I'm out of my Open Farm bone broth, for example, I would then potentially top my 2 cats' meals with one of these types of things. Okay, so right before this video, one of my cats' biscuit punctured this, so I'm gonna have to feed it to them right away. But the Instinct brand is a brand that I think is really great. It's more accessible. You can buy it at PetSmart, you can buy it off Amazon. And so it's a brand that definitely is one to consider if you cannot afford the higher tier brand options. Now let's talk ingredients for this one. This is a rabbit recipe. We have pork broth, rabbit, pork liver, pork, egg whites, ground dried peas, spinach, carrots, ground flaxseed, a few things I can't pronounce, guar gum. I've talked to you guys about those additives. That's an additive. Natural flavor, what does that mean? I'm not sure. Some flaxseed oils, and there's some stuff I cannot pronounce. So one thing about this, I didn't even realize, it says rabbit recipe, but half of it's pork. But I do really enjoy this brand if you want to go more wholesome and more quality ingredients, but do realize as we start going down this list where we're going from very high quality to lower quality, you're gonna get those additives. Guar gum. Guar gum thickens. It could upset your cat's tummy if they have a very sensitive stomach. Natural flavors. No one knows what natural flavor means, but they do have some really good ingredients like pumpkin, tomato, cranberries, artichokes, broccoli, blueberries. If you're looking for a product that is more healthy, look for those ingredients that you can pronounce. Otherwise, the whole thing is just man-made synthetic stuff that you're giving your cat. Okay, so our 5th product is by the brand Wellness. These are Wellness Shreds Healthy Indulgence. My cats love this thing. It's really good because it does have a whole bunch of more kind of chunky meat. This one is skipjack, tuna, and shrimp in light sauce. So let's talk about ingredients here. Chicken broth, water, chicken, potato starch, tuna, shrimp, chicken liver, eggs, carrots. There's natural flavor in there. Salt, guar gum, so a few things I cannot pronounce. Then we got some vitamins added. So just like the Instinct brand, this has additives. Now, it's not terrible because the food that you eat has additives and stuff to it. But it's just that concept of if you want to give them the most wholesome stuff, you have to look at those ingredients and provide them with limited ingredients. But then you have to watch out. You can't give them completely limited ingredients or else it's not going to give them the vitamins and minerals that they need. Especially don't go feeding them just meal toppers or meal complements. But this is a good example. It's a brand that I do enjoy giving them every now and then, but again, it's just one of those things where it has more of those additives, guar gums, and natural flavors that's added to it to make it maybe more tasty for your cats or something like that. So overall, there's no perfect answer. Yes, there are options that are a lot more healthy for your cat, and there are options that have some additives, but nevertheless, all of these options, all these brands are ones that are still really good for your cat because they have a lot of wholesome ingredients in them. You shouldn't have to worry about providing your cat with the ultimate best food because guess what, even stuff like this, it's still not as good as if they went out and ate a bird or a rabbit or something. Like that's the ultimate raw. But no matter what, getting them more moisture, getting them more of their vitamins and nutrients, and helping them to eat something better than just the dry kibble, I like it. So if you have any questions or comments, of course, when it comes to your food, be sure to ask your vet. They're the ones with all the answers. We'll see you in the next video.